Hello, welcome to my channel Amorphatarot, and today's reading we're going to be focusing on what you need to look out for in the upcoming month of September. Astrologically, September is going to be very interesting. There's a lot of big energy incoming, a lot of major changes, a lot of big endings and beginnings because we are entering eclipse season next month. So just to give a little astrological breakdown of what's happening in September, on the very 1st of September, Saturn will be going retrograde into Pisces. So if you remember back to March 2023, that's when Saturn first went into Pisces. Whatever has happened since then in that area of your chart, Saturn is going to go back and finish up some loose ends, address some things that need to be addressed in the Pisces area of your chart. And then on September 5th, Uranus will retrograde in Gemini, and Uranus recently ingressed there earlier in July, I believe. So it's already retrograding back, and even with the retrograde station, there is going to be some major shakeups or changes in the Gemini part of your chart. And on the 7th of September, we are officially entering eclipse season. We will be having a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Once again, Pisces is going to be a very important and active part of everyone's charts. And then on the 21st, there is a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. So a lot of major endings and beginnings in the Virgo and Pisces parts of your chart. I personally use whole sign house system. I am a traditional Western astrologer, so those houses, those signs would cleanly correspond to some houses, but if you use Placidus, just look at the what houses these two are on the cusp of. And just a general disclaimer that this is a general reading. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. You know your story best, and trust your intuition. If something doesn't sit right with you, doesn't apply to you, then it probably doesn't apply to you. But without further ado, here are the piles. This one is pile 1. It is a Sunstone Moonstone. I think this was like marketed as like Calcite stone. But there's pile 1. Pile 2 is a Calcite. Pile 3 is this, I believe this is Rhodonite. It's a Rhodonite heart. And pile 4 is a Lapis Lazuli little spear chunk guy. Yeah, you can go ahead and pause the video if you need more time picking your pile. But I will go ahead and start the reading. Hello, pile 1. If you chose this pretty Sunstone Moonstone Cat's Eye stone, this is your reading. So we're going to look into your current energy at the moment, and then we will get, if it resonates, we'll get into tarot, and the tarot will tell us what what are the major changes or major endings and beginnings? Like, what is that going to be centered around? But for you, pile one, you had two cards fly out for this energy check, and it is Death and the Child. So it seems like you are in, right off the bat, when I am seeing the these two cards in combination, I am immediately thinking of like just being in this energy of having to grow up, and maybe realize that a certain sense of like maturity has to be cultivated within yourself. But on the flip side as well, I could read this in many ways, but that is one reading of these two cards. But another thing I'm picking up on is with the Death card, this has the energy of having gone through a really big transformation. And so it feels like amidst your transformation, like it's like the part of you that got shed was this very like kind of childlike and naive way of maybe seeing or operating, and this just screams like maturity, like coming deeper into oneself, and yeah, it just seems like you're currently in this energy of shedding away parts of you that won't benefit you moving forward, shedding parts of you that that just don't resonate with you anymore, or shedding ways of shedding methods of how you've done things in the past, kind of like outgrowing your conditioning, kind of reprogramming yourself, and like I want to say, like, outgrowing your attachment styles. And yeah, maybe this is the energy of having ended a relationship with somebody, and because relationships are mirrors and portals to your own personal transformation, that experience has showed you all the ways that you react naturally out of your attachment styles. And maybe there's just this like inner awareness of what you've grown up around, what has influenced you as a child, your environment, your parental figures, how they have interacted with you. This like very deep introspection on like why you act the way you act. And I'm just getting like, especially with this Death card too, like a lot of shadow work. I'm really paying attention to this eye underground here. And I think maybe you're in this energy of really looking at your roots, where you came from, being aware of familial patterns, being aware of ancestral patterns, and how that has impacted you as a child. And we all kind of unconsciously act out of our inner child. And I think once you're bringing awareness to that, you're able to make changes and you're able to transform, hence the death, and yeah, transform into a more mature version of you, a more wise version of yourself. And I do want to say, like, this also, like, sitting with this energy, it's not fun. It's not glamorous. There is a lot of heaviness that comes with exploring this realm of yourself, because it is just a lot of the things too is you realize that because you were a child, getting information from your environment, a lot of things that just weren't in your control. And sometimes with this energy too, there is an acceptance of like, there has to be, at some point there is an acceptance of like, not transcending the resentment, because you realize that people are also, even back then when you were a child, they were just doing their best at the time, with the tools and awareness that they had at the time too. And if that doesn't resonate, that doesn't resonate. But yes, this is not an easy energy to sit with, but it is very insightful, and I personally think this is a very productive thing, because the things I think are productive are like, shadow work. I think shadow work is super productive. That is a personal opinion. But productive in a sense that it is furthering you on your journey to yourself, your truest and most authentic version of you. So yes, that is your current energy check. If that resonates, please stay and let me tell you what September has in store for you. So in September, if you skipped the intro, the astrology of September is going to be very, very loud. There's just a lot of energy happening in September, a lot of big shifts. We are entering eclipse season, and there will be eclipses in Pisces and Virgo, in those two areas of your chart. Also, Saturn and Uranus are going to go retrograde in September. So those are basically the mutable signs will be very active, but especially Pisces, because Saturn is also going retrograde in Pisces along with a lunar eclipse. So the Pisces area of your chart will be very, very active. Okay, now I'm going to be pulling some tarot to gain some insight on what September has in store for you. I'm going to be asking, what are the major beginnings and endings about for pile 1? What are the major endings and beginnings for pile 1 September? I only like to take one. Pile 1's major changes. Pile 1's major changes for September. Pile 1's major changes for September. Pile 1's major changes for September. Whoa. Pile 1's major changes for September. Pile 1's major changes for September. Can I have more on pile 1's major changes for September? I will just take that. And can I have one more card on pile 1's major changes? One more card on pile 1's major changes for September. Okay. Okay. So the major changes for you, pile 1, is the Six of Pentacles in reverse, the Ace of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Three of Cups in reverse on the back. Okay. So I feel like your September, the major changes in your September will be around I think you're gonna have some clarity on I think you're gonna have some clarity on where there is imbalance in your relationships. With the Six of Pentacles in reverse, it feels like this feels like a frustration in not getting what you put in, especially if this is like a dynamic with another person. It just feels like you are putting in most of the effort and it's not being reciprocated, or if it is reciprocated, it is not equal. And it feels very, the energy of that feels very frustrated and a little stuffy. And so I think there's going to be a clarity around imbalance. And I think this clarity of imbalance will lead you to, I mean, and I'm saying this too with this in the back, but it is giving me, I feel like, okay, if I had to guess where the eclipses are taking place, I feel like these eclipses would be taking place in your kind of maybe 7th or 11th houses. So, yeah, maybe your eclipses are happening in the first house, 7th house axis, or the 5th house, 11th house axis. But I am getting this, the major change and the major beginning and ending vibe of September is just, maybe acknowledging that you need new friends. This definitely looks like tension within a dynamic, having clarity with it, and having, having the emotional security within yourself to move on with compassion and look forward to other opportunities with either different people, other opportunities with, again, however this applies. This could be a work opportunity too. This could definitely be a work opportunity. But this overall, yeah, I think there is going to be an ending of a dynamic, of a relationship, maybe of a job, and it is really centered around this like lack of reciprocation, or just not getting your needs met in the way that you feel is appropriate. And with the Three of Cups in reverse, it feels like I'm reading this two ways. So yes, there could be a falling out because of a realization, and especially with the Ace of Swords too, like it's not just a realization, like this is a communication as well. This is like a like a text or some sort of communication. And yeah, this could be like, severing, or I can also read this as reconnecting with past, reconnecting with friends from your past, or just reconnecting with people that you didn't think would be, like, for lack of a better term, like your cup of tea. Finding yourself connecting with people that you didn't think you would hang out with, or just moving yourself towards just moving yourself towards people, places, or things that aren't necessarily your norm, but there is a sense of wanting to be there. There is a sense of wanting to warm up to that. Or there is a sense of belonging that you can't put your finger on, but you know that the vibe is there, but maybe the outward appearance or, the optics or whatever, maybe that doesn't, maybe that doesn't match up with your, like, internal expectations. But yeah, I feel like this upcoming month of September is really centered around relationships. It's centered around moving to where you feel most emotionally seen and comfortable and safe. And either maybe moving towards an old friendship or unexpected friendships. And again, maybe change that word friendship with relationship or, workplace, however it lands with you. But I think that is the main kind of big, major beginning and ending energy for your September pile one. I'm going to pull some oracle cards for advice. I do want to I'm going to ask this astrology oracle. I'm going to shuffle it and ask what planetary energies should pile one embody throughout September to help navigate this easier. What planetary energies should pile one embody to help navigate these transits easier? Whoa. These are just going everywhere, aren't they? What planetary energies should pile one embody so that they go through this transit easier? What energies should pile 1 embody to go through this transit easier? What energies should pile 1 embody? Okay, I will take that. To go through this transit easier. Okay, on the back we have Sun and Jupiter. So, I feel like Spirit is definitely encouraging you to be hopeful, to have faith, but not just that, to like act like it and move with faith. Act like you know that everything is going to be just fine, especially if this is something that's worrying you, if this is something that has been weighing down on you, if this has been very heavy. I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to act with the conviction of faith and know that ultimately things will be working out for your highest good. Jupiter is the planet of faith, and I think the tricky thing about faith is that it kind of borderlines on delusion. So be delusional and have faith that everything is going to work out in your favor. Oh, and Sun and Pluto. Okay. So I feel like Spirit is also encouraging you to not be afraid of change. Along with this Death card, Pluto is very much associated with the underworld and change and transformation, as it is associated with Scorpio, and Scorpio is associated with the natural 8th house. So these eclipses could be happening in your 8th house, or these eclipses could be on your natal Jupiter or your natal Pluto, which would very much amplify the intensity of these eclipses in the upcoming month. But I also think that Spirit is very much encouraging you to lean into the transformation, especially Sun Pluto. Like, this is a change of identity, and lean into that, especially if you're noticing and if you have this awareness and clarity around where you are not being reciprocated equally, and where you're not receiving what you deserve. I feel like this oracle card really is encouraging you to lean into the change, lean into this assertiveness, because it is this, back to your energy check, like, usually this type of energy would be tolerated because of your attachment style. So let's say, like, for example, like, you would, like, this is giving like the energy of like maybe being breadcrumbed and like just tolerating the breadcrumbs, because as a kid maybe you had abandonment issues, and that is just your natural attachment style, to be more anxious and to hold on to or to try to win over this person, place, situation. And so I think even with the energy check of going into attachment issues and transcending that and growing from it and reprogramming it, this is like the reprogram card, to change and shift the way you have shown up, so you don't tolerate something like that anymore, because and especially Pluto is about personal power too. And so I definitely think that September will be urging you to really, really lean into your personal faith and your personal power, to transform into this person that doesn't put up with bullshit, essentially. So I really like this Sun Pluto and Sun Jupiter energies for you, pile 1. I'm also going to pull some advice cards from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. And yeah, I'm just going to ask for a couple, just an advice card from this deck. I also want to pull an advice card from the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras deck, and one last oracle deck. But can I have advice for pile 1 September? Can I have an advice card for pile 1? Okay. See, on the back is Break the Chain, Ancestral Patterns, Healing, Rewriting the Future. What did I say? Yes. September is really, really urging you, especially with the Death card and the Pluto card, to break your patterns. I'm getting the book from Joe Dispenza, Break the Habit of Being Yourself. And again, a lot of that is, stems from early childhood and attachment issues. So it is very difficult to transcend that, but it is not impossible. And then the other one is The Ever Unfolding Rose, Cracked Open. It's happening for you, not to you. Yes, and I think that this is a very fitting, because this shakeup, especially with eclipse season and major endings and beginnings, like, especially if this is a relationship, a situationship, a friendship, like, if you have to be the person to assert your new boundaries, and potentially and most likely possibly cut someone off, it is a very cracked open energy. You will feel very raw and vulnerable, and these energies, it is very intense. Pluto is a very intense energy. It's an intense planet. The death, transformation and death, that is intense. And yes, your advice here is that, like, although these might not be, like, on the surface, very subjectively pleasant events, it is for the purpose of growth and expansion here with Sun and Jupiter, especially with the Sun cards being here too. This is your identity. This is yourself. This is how you show up. And so this is just a reminder from Spirit that this is ultimately happening for your greatest and highest good, to be a higher version of yourself, and to, be bigger than your programming, because you are not, you aren't what you grew up with, and yeah, it is always, like, yes, it is not our fault, but it is our responsibility to evolve and change how we react, especially with the awareness being given. And I want to get second to last advice card. This is the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras Oracle deck, and I just want to get one piece of advice, one card of advice for pile 1 to navigate their September. One piece of advice for pile 1. Can I have, what does pile 1 need to know? What's some advice for pile 1? What's some advice for pile 1? Okay. You got the sacral chakra, water. Connect to the inner dwelling place of joy and pleasure. And on the back it is fertility, Aphrodite, become attuned to the fertile ground within you. So these two cards are very similar. These two both talk about the sacral. And I feel like Spirit is also trying to get you to be grounded, to get grounded in yourself and connect with the pleasure, connect with pleasure. The sacral chakra, it has the water element, and it sits right around like your belly button. It's right above the root chakra, and this is where a lot of emotions are stored. A lot of grief is stored here, especially if this is pertaining to a relationship, and especially like maybe a sexual relationship as well. Like, I feel like Spirit is definitely encouraging you to restore your sacral, ground yourself back into the earth, and transmute any toxic or negative energies back into the earth. I like to do kind of like this, like a meditation where I kind of visualize that there is a channel of energy connected to the base of my spine, and actually just kind of like this too. Channels of roots going down to the ground, and meditating on giving the bad experiences, bad energy, and things, everything that you want to transmute out of your body, and visualize all of that energy being drained into Mother Earth, and Mother Earth will absorb it and transmute it for you. And especially, and I know, hey, this might sound like weird advice, but I would advise to twerk. In September, to get through all this heaviness, I would advise you to shake some ass. Because everything is stored in the sacral chakra, all the grief, all the emotions, and shaking it out, just like the way dogs shake themselves when they have an experience to kind of like move the energy. I feel like the energy in your sacral needs to be moved, and twerking is very much a powerful remedy for that. And before this reading gets too long, I want to pull one last card to leave you off with. I am very... wow. I'm trying to find the deck. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I am very big on journaling. And so I will shuffle out some self-love, or one self-love question from the We're Not Really Strangers deck, the self-love edition. And these are journal prompts. And I love journaling. I am pro-journal. So I will shuffle out a journal prompt for you, pile one. And that will be what I leave you off with. So, can we have a self-love journal prompt for pile one? Oh, okay. That one came out very quickly. So your journal prompt for September is: when do I feel my best? What am I wearing? What am I doing? Create that day for yourself as soon as possible. So yeah, I hope that all of that resonated with you, pile one. September is going to be a very big month, and I wish you all the best. If this resonated, please leave a like, leave a comment. I'm so curious, what your placements are, what's going on in your life. Like, I really am so curious about how this lands and resonates with you. And if you like it, please subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, there is my email in the description. And yeah, other than that, I hope you have a good September. Good luck with that. Good luck with your month. And I hope to see you back here. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose this calcite, then this is your reading. This is an oracle card from the Audacity deck, and I will be using this to use for your energy check. If you resonate with this energy, this is definitely your pile, and stay tuned to see what September has in store for you. And if not, maybe pick another pile. Also, I don't know if you skipped the intro, but September is going to have a lot of big energy astrologically, and this reading is going to help you, or the purpose of this reading is to help you to have a little glimpse ahead of what these major endings and beginnings could be about and how best to navigate it. And so on the very first of the month of September, Saturn is going to go retrograde back into Pisces. On the 5th of September, Uranus will retrograde into Gemini. On the 7th of September, there will be a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And on the 21st of September, there is going to be a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. So check the mutable signs in your chart, wherever they fall, and which houses they fall in. I am personally a Western traditional astrologer, so I use whole sign house system. So that means each house will cleanly correspond to one sign. But if you use Placidus or any other sort of house system, just look at the house cusps and where the signs fall. But the mutable signs, but especially Virgo and Pisces, will be activated very heavily this month in September. And a lot, because it's an eclipse season, a lot of major endings and beginnings in those areas of your chart. So yeah, without further ado, this is your current energy, pile 2. You have the 0 of fucks. I love it. You seem to be in a very raw, authentic, unapologetic energy. You may be in this energy because you might be starting a new endeavor, getting that from the 0, right here at the top. I'm also getting the Fool card with this. The Fool card in the tarot. So you might be at like the very, very beginning of another, cycle of the Fool's journey. So starting a new endeavor, maybe a job, or a project, or just starting something new and needing to have the inner audacity to do it. This card also talks about the energy of really needing to focus on yourself, as opposed to like the needs of the others and others around you. This gives a very, very heavy emphasis on really just focusing your energy solely on you. So you might be in a very like independent energy, or you might be very protective of your energy at the moment, because you are in a very kind of like delicate and important starting phase. So if you resonate with this kind of raw, authentic, self-starter, or just like embarking on a new journey type of vibration, then please stay tuned for what September has in store for you. Also, too, before I even get into this, this is like very much giving the energy of Uranus as well, because Uranus is like the modern day ruler of like Aquarius, and some people equate Uranus with the Fool energy. So yeah, the Uranus transit that stations on the 5th, Uranus retrograde in Gemini, maybe that is a bigger marker for you this month than the eclipses. But yeah, I'm going to ask the tarot, what are the major changes that are happening in September for you? What are the major changes happening in September for pile 2? What are the major changes, major endings and beginnings happening in September for pile 2? Okay. What are the major changes pile 2 will be experiencing in September? Major changes in September for pile 2. Oh, those are 2 cards. I like to take one at a time. What are the major changes ahead for pile 2 in September? Okay. What are the major changes ahead for pile 2 in September? What are the major changes ahead for pile 2 in September? Whoa. Whoa. That is a lot. And I'm sorry, but I will not be taking these. What are the major changes ahead for pile 2 in September? Major changes ahead for pile 2 in September. One more, please. Major changes ahead for pile 2 in September. Major changes ahead for pile 2 in September. Major changes ahead for pile 2 in September. Oh, that one just flew out. Okay. So on the back of the deck we have the 9 of Cups. So seems like a pretty good change. Seems like maybe something you will be happy about, possibly a wish fulfillment. But we have, oh, look at that, the Fool. The Fool, the King of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Okay. Major changes ahead for you, pile 2, in the month of September. Okay. Right off the bat, I feel like for you, pile 2, the major changes ahead in September, I can read this a couple different ways, but the first way I'm going to read this is with the Fool in reverse. I am really getting the energy of the transit Saturn retrograde back into Pisces, which is going to happen on the very 1st of September. So I feel like, yes, I was picking up on Fool energy in your vibe check. It just seems like you're ready to go, ready to start something. But with the Fool in reverse, it feels like there might be a delay or unexpected event or occurrence that might disrupt the process of that. But I don't think you should be discouraged because of these other two cards. Because with the King of Cups and the Knight of Swords, it feels like maybe this redirection, especially because it's Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and the eclipses will be activating the Pisces part of your chart as well. I think that the Fool in reverse is definitely kind of like a revision energy. And it's kind of like, I'm getting the vibe of like whatever progress you made when Saturn was in Aries, that is put on hold. And as Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces in September, you're going to have to revisit some things or aspects or dynamics, people that really originated back in March of 2023 when Saturn first stationed into Pisces. And I really think that this is a revision or a refinement of whatever is happening in the Pisces area of your chart. And in doing that, the King of Cups and the Knight of Swords, it feels like you're going to gain like this emotional maturity and emotional stability, this ability to kind of see the bigger picture of the dynamic, take things more in jest, and to not really internalize your experiences, but to instead be able to be above it, and not in a bypassing way, but be above it in a sense that because you have gone through these things before, you now have the knowledge and the wisdom to act in a more mature way than you did in the past. And with a lot more conviction too with the Knight of Swords. It feels like it is now a more kind of a more natural reaction that has formed, as opposed to being hesitant about what to do or what to say or how to approach the situation, like you might have had in the past. Like there might have been hesitation in the past of what you felt the right thing to do was, but now there is no hesitation. You are now secure in what you know is best for you, and and how to navigate that, how to navigate your waters, and just how to be a good captain of your ship. Because I see him, he's finally having fun controlling the ship, because he knows how to adjust the sails, and he knows how to turn the wheel. Like he's relaxed because he knows how to handle any situation that the water throws at him. And I feel like this emotional resilience is really gonna be a very big internal change for you, pile 2, because to have this emotional resilience, it doesn't bog you down. And when you're not bogged down by the minuscule things, you're able to think quicker and act quicker, and with a lot more conviction. And especially, in the back of the deck here, we have the Nine of Cups. So this feels like a very, like once you embody this energy of being able to remain kind of like level-headed about your new approach to things, like it will definitely bring you what you want. Like this new embodied attitude will definitely give you, especially with the 0 of Flux here, this really feels like a very self-focused energy. I really do feel like this is a more personal transformation, if anything. And I could also read this as I definitely could also read this as possibly maybe reconnecting like maybe there's a connection that didn't come off the ground initially, and now there is a sense of like more emotional groundedness within the connection, and a lot more communication, because there's a better emotional understanding on both sides, which leads to fish fulfillment. That's funny. Wish fulfillment. Um, this definitely is the energy of something that, you know, you have wanted to happen. This might be a manifestation of that. Um, and yeah, just a delay on one end, or maybe, yeah, maybe kind of this like failure to start energy, or just a pause. There is some sort of pause and like refinement and retrospection energy because of the two planets going in retrograde, Uranus and Saturn, going retrograde very early in the month. So I feel like this full in reverse energy is kind of is definitely talking about this retrograde energy. But in doing that, in going inwards and in refining the either refining or letting time refine the situation, or you yourself refining how you react to the dynamics of the person, place, or situation. I feel like these are inner gems of emotional resilience and quick decisiveness, and having a self assurance, and really being self assured, and knowing that this is what you want, this is how you want to show up. And yeah, just I'm just getting like, yeah, once you start changing your actions and acting that way, things will be a lot easier. There's going to be a better flow to things. And I feel like embodying that energy will lead you to all the things that you have ever wanted, or especially all the things that you have been trying to manifest as of recent. And so I'm going to go ahead and, what was it? Okay, I'm gonna get, sorry about that. I'm gonna get some advice from this astrology oracle, and I'm gonna ask it, what energies do you need to embody to best navigate this transit? What energies does pile 2 need to embody to best navigate this transit? What energies does pile 2 need to embody to best navigate this transit? What energies does pile 2 need to embody to best navigate this transit? That one came out pretty quickly. Okay, on the back we have Sun, Venus, and we have Mars, Jupiter. Okay, yes. I do like this energy. So I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to embody the energy of someone who takes charge, but is very like jovial and motivational in their approach. Like, I feel like this is a very motivational, like motivational speaker type of energy, or just like embodying, instead of like being a motivational speaker, it's more about like embodying the hope, and kind of like showing people instead of like actually saying it. And for some reason, I am getting the square aspect between Mars and Jupiter, so I'm also taking this as kind of like a warning as opposed to a kind of like an encouragement. But another way I'm seeing this is like to be aware of burnout, and to pace yourself, especially with the Fool in reverse, and like expecting some sort of interruption or delay or kind of slow down, or some sort of energy shift towards like pausing or introspection. I feel like this is maybe kind of like a warning of to pace yourself and slow down before you get too ahead of yourself, before the universe stops you, or the universe, before the universe puts you in a position where you have to stop. But yeah, with Mars Jupiter, it talks a lot about like, I'm just getting the phrase of like, to be wary of like biting off more than you can chew, because this is about like, Mars is the energy of drive and action, and Jupiter is the energy of like expansion. So burnout and overworking really is kind of like a cautionary thing, but I think in order to kind of counteract that is to mix in the things that are that you enjoy, the things that are pleasurable to you, your hobbies, or art as well. I think that this is encouraging you to, it's kind of, I think the spirit is trying to encourage like a kind of like a work-life balance here, where spirit is very aware of the great drive and ambition, but is also aware that rest and recuperation and rejuvenation is also on the flip side of that. And burning out is definitely not ideal. And I'm really just so drawn to the Fool in reverse, and just seeing it more as like a warning, and kind of like a caution, to kind of just keep that in mind. Yeah. And I also want to pull an advice card from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. So, what is one advice card for pile 2 from this deck? Can I have one advice card for pile 2? Can I have one advice card for pile 2 September, please? One advice card for pile 2. Okay. And on the back of the deck, we have no. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. Again, this is echoed here with the Fool in reverse. There is something that will not be getting off the ground, unfortunately, in September. But it is, this pause definitely seems like it is for the greater good. And then we have boundaries. Here we go. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Yeah, I think that this need for introspection, this pause, whatever pause is going to come up in September, it is going to highlight, especially with the King of Cups, like now with your awareness of being more aware to what disrupts the currents when you're sailing your own personal boat. Like sometimes you have to realize when to kind of navigate out of rough waters, and to do that metaphorically is to have boundaries and to move away from things like that. And And I definitely think you are getting to this kind of like masterful energy, especially with the King of Cups here. You're really mastering the art of setting these boundaries, setting these limits with yourself, knowing your limits and knowing what you are going to entertain, what you're not going to entertain, what you are going to tolerate, what you're not going to tolerate. And this inner gut knowing really leads to decisive actions, and a very unapologetic, like this guy, he gives zero of fucks. He is riding this merry-go-round pony with his shirt off, thinking that he is the shit, but he doesn't give a fuck. But all that to say is, once you know yourself, you know what you are going to tolerate and what you're not. And because you're in the energy of not giving a fuck, setting boundaries is going to be a lot easier when you know what you stand for and when you know what action you need to take to make yourself feel better in the dynamic. And I think, again, this no card really is reiterating this notion of just like pause, no, setting boundaries, like yeah, it is there. It seems to be like the I feel like this reading is a lot more about the retrograde stations than the eclipses. But I do think that the eclipses, I mean, overall, wherever Pisces is in your chart, will be heavily, heavily activated by Saturn and these eclipses. And so, yeah, if I had to guess, I mean, you might be a Gemini rising with Uranus stationing retrograde in your first house. Hence, like, you know, this really emphasis on focusing on yourself, your needs right now, and starting new things for yourself. But when it goes retrograde, all those endeavors might be put more on the back burner, and you might need to go back to the drawing board on some things. And I'm going to pull one more advice card from the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras Oracle. And so, yeah, what is an advice for pile 2 to navigate September? Okay, cool. On the back, we have 41, Great Eternal Sun Unity. Become aware of ideas, consciousness, and existence beyond the known. I will tap into that soon. And then we have 3, Solar Plexus Chakra, Fire. Ignite the powerful energy of your individual light. So I already think you are in this energy, especially given the 0 fucks. And especially because you already chose this yellow calcite. I think that Spirit is very much encouraging you to heavily lean into this energy. Lean into self-expression, lean into showing off who you are, your uniqueness, your talents, your art, your work. Lean into showing it off. And especially Venus is in Leo currently, just stationed in Leo today as I'm filming this, and it will stay in Leo until the 19th. So I feel like this Venus in Leo energy for most of September will really be helping you to have more of the audacity. You already have the audacity, and I feel like the energy of Venus and Leo will definitely just amp that up. It'll help you carry that through and help give you this confidence to set the boundaries, to say what you need to say no to who you need to say no to, and to know that at the end of the day, it is for your values. You are standing up for your values and what ultimately brings you inner peace and pleasure. And once you get in touch with that, it is so much easier to say no to whatever is not in alignment with that. And with this card, this activates the crown chakra. And I feel like Spirit is also encouraging you to see that yes, having things being put on pause, or having to set boundaries with a person, place, or thing, or things not working out in the way you originally imagined or anticipated, I'm getting the phrase like it's happening for you, not to you. And I feel like this is just a message from Spirit to say that there is a bigger, this is leading you to bigger and better things. And although it might be uncomfortable or painful sometimes, to have to go through, or especially if you're someone who is more introverted and trying to unlearn ways of being passive, that is very uncomfortable, but there are very valuable lessons for your personal growth in that. And I think Spirit is trying to say to kind of look at the bigger picture of things, and try not to, no matter how uncomfortable or painful this situation might be, or it might not be, that there is a bigger reason for that. And I am a very, very huge fan of journaling, and I have the We're Not Really Strangers Self-Love Edition deck. So I am going to leave you off with a journal prompt to sit with yourself and answer the prompt, and hopefully this prompt and session will help you navigate the month of September better, at least give you a heads up on what's to come in the upcoming month and how to best prepare yourself for it. Oh, I guess that is your card. On the back it says, "What did I learn about myself this week?" And the card you pulled is, "When was the last time someone helped me appreciate a part of myself that feels hard for me to love?" I feel like this is such a fitting question, because with the zero fucks and this Fool energy, just this very I feel like a very Aquarian type of energy off of this, but this energy is very unapologetic, and sometimes being in that vibration, you have to overcome a lot of societal conditioning, and overcoming that, society puts a lot of labels, and it's society that makes people feel like they're hard to love. And one, I'm proud of you for being so loud and proud and audacious, and raw and authentic, but I really do appreciate this. I really think this prompt is so fitting for this energy, and I hope that was helpful for you, pile 2. Please comment down below and tell me if anything resonated, if you kind of, already feel this energy. I am so interested to see how this checks out, what is happening in your life. Definitely leave a comment. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave me a comment, send this video to your friends. And yeah, I have an email in my description if you would like a personal reading. But if this is where I leave you today, I hope you have a great day or night or whatever time of day you are consuming this. And I wish you good luck on this upcoming month of September. Hello, pile 3. If you chose this Rhodonite heart, then this is your reading for your September forecast. If you skip the intro, there is just a lot of big astrological energy happening in this coming month of September. Right on the 1st of September, Saturn is going to go retrograde into Pisces. On the 5th of September, Uranus is going to go retrograde in Gemini. On the 7th, there's going to be a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Yes, we are entering eclipse season. And on the 21st, there is a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. So August, there were a lot of the cardinal signs activated, but this coming September, a lot of the mutable signs and the houses they rule in your chart will be activated. Very, very heavily activated. There are major changes underway, especially with eclipse season. There are new beginnings and endings bound to happen, or at least the energy is very ripe for that. This is your energy check card, so if you resonate with this energy, then this is your reading. And yeah, we'll see what September has in store for you and what these major changes, beginnings, endings might be. So, your current energy is the Tower. Wow. So it feels like you're currently already feeling some form of awakening, some sort of disruption. Either you're already feeling it or you're anticipating it. And this is just the card of like unexpected events, unexpected things that kind of like throw a wrench in your plans, or unexpected information that might, break down a structure or a relationship or a relationship dynamic, or just like very shocking energy. A lot of just like unexpected events and feeling like so ungrounded because things are kind of up in the air. Things might feel pretty crazy for you right now. And I think along with this energy too is that because things have been like unstable, or whatever is crumbling, there is also an awareness to what is working and what isn't, what is true to you, what isn't, and what is true of the situation and what isn't. The Tower card talks a lot about like sorry. The Tower card talks a lot about what can handle, like what a stable structure is, and when it does crumble, if it does crumble, it's because it didn't have the integrity to have it held up. It essentially had a weak foundation, whatever is currently crumbling, and that could be a very liberating truth, but it could also be a painful truth as well. And yeah, it definitely feels like a free fall energy. But interestingly enough, this specific tarot card in this Audacity deck, take this if it resonates, but just like seeing the imagery of this woman, I know the guidebook definitely mentions like everything is crumbling apart, but are you enjoying the attention, is like kind of what the guidebook is saying or kind of pointing out with this card. And so if that resonates, take it. If it doesn't, doesn't. But there is also maybe this like kind of energy of taking advantage of the instability to gain attention, but I can sense that it's like a very small percentage. But yeah, without further ado, let me pull some tarot on what the major changes in September could be about for you, pile 3. What will September bring for pile 3? What could these major changes be about? What could the major changes happening in September for pile 3 be about? Major beginnings and endings for pile 3 in September. Major changes. What could these major changes be about for pile 3 in September? What could these major changes be for pile 3 in September? What could these major changes be for pile 3 in September? What could these major changes be for pile 3 in September? Okay. We have the Moon, the Three of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. And the back of the deck is the World in reverse. Okay. Pile 3. I think that a major change for you in September could be centered around, the first way I'm interpreting this is being very intuitive and creative, and really working on your craft and gaining inspiration from your dreams, gaining inspiration from the nighttime from like, I don't know, doing things at night, hanging out at night, having like conversations at night, um, or even making art or uh, perfecting your craft at night. There's just this with the moon card. I am just really getting the darkness. Uh, yeah, the darkness of night, and it seems like you might be working on something in secret. Um, and yeah, I think in September, um, especially if this tower energy has like freed you from um like prior engagements or freed your schedule up in some way, shape, or form. I feel like September will be giving you the time, or at least an opportunity to make time to work on your craft, your intuition, your art, um, or even just like doing shadow work. Um, but with the Three of Pentacles, I'm also kind of seeing this um, this aspect of community, whether you are creating with community, um, or creating with your friends or another group of people, or creating with um, even, like collaborators online. But I'm just sensing a lot of collaboration, um, and teamwork in pursuing whatever this is. With the Knight of Wands, it feels very inspired, and very much like a go-getter energy, something that's really personally exciting, something that you are very determined to finish, determined and passionate about working on. This is really giving the energy of a passion project, like working on a passion project, alone or with the intention of showing other people and with the intention to put it on display or to have it be seen by a lot of people. And I am just really encapsulated by the moon energy being here because it just seems like such a deep reservoir of inspiration. Um, it just feels like whatever it is that you're creating or collaborating on, it just feels like it feels like a big undertaking, but something that you are very passionate and excited to pursue and execute. And because of the moon energy too, it feels like it will be very captivating. Like this piece of work or whatever you're working on, like the moon, the way that people just stare at the moon, people will be very mesmerized, and captivated by whatever it is you are building or working on or creating. And so I think for you, your September will be a lot about really just like having fun with your craft, or at least pursuing something, pursuing either like a community endeavor or something to benefit the community. Um, yeah, these eclipses might be happening maybe in your 7th or 11th houses, or maybe the 5th, 11th axis. So the houses of creativity and your audience and networks. that could be a thing. But I do like the Knight of Wands being here because he is just very, he's very passionate and he's very direct and he is very willing to go after what he wants to pursue. And yeah, I think that that will be a very enjoyable change for you, pile 3. And it's funny because rhodonite, this stone here, is it actually helps aid creativity and compassion, especially with a tower moment. That could leave you feeling very raw, especially if this was like, you know, a person, place, situation that you initially thought was good and was on a good trajectory, and it happened to just abruptly not, you know, kind of fit the bill. That is very jarring, and it is very disheartening, and it's sad. But sometimes you have to cope with the reality, and one of the properties of this crystal is to, yes, boost creativity, but also with a compassionate side too. It's to help see both sides of a situation. So this, maybe you might want to pick up a rhodonite stone for yourself, but to help you through September. But it is, I feel like, whatever this creative endeavor is, it feels creative, it might not be, but whatever this endeavor is, it feels like it will be very healing. It will act like a balm, to kind of soothe the wounds of whatever this tower moment was. And I actually I really like that for you, pile 3. And I'm gonna pull some advice cards for you. So the first one I'm gonna pull is, I'm gonna use the astrology oracle, and I'm going to ask what energies you should be aware of as you go out. As you go through this month. What energies should pile 3 be aware of? Or what energies should pile 3 be aware of in the month of September? Okay. What energies should pile 4, or not 4, 3. Maybe that's a sign to watch pile 4. What energies should pile 3 be aware of while navigating September? There you go. Okay. On the back, we have double Jupiter. So your the transit Jupiter. So Jupiter is currently in Cancer right now. So it could be that transiting Jupiter in Cancer is in aspect to your natal Jupiter. So maybe you also have a Jupiter in Cancer, and this conjunction is coming close in your chart. And I think this is a very benevolent energy, and this is probably what is driving these like major shifts and changes for you, is because maybe Jupiter is finally bringing some good luck, some prosperity, some ease and abundance to the Cancer area of your life, which is allowing you to pursue whatever this is. And the other energy here is Chiron, Chiron. Wow. So you could also be having a Chiron transit as well. So Chiron, I believe Chiron is currently in Aries. And so the transit Chiron could be lining up with your natal Chiron, and there could be a lot of healing going on, but at the same time, this is very much like getting very intimate with your wounds and being able to transmute it. With Chiron aspects, especially transit Chiron to natal aspects, they could be very distinct times of realizing your personal pain points and seeing the remedies, the personal remedies that you can put into action to help that. I think it's so interesting that these are like doubled. So yeah. I think that Spirit is definitely trying to tell you to have faith in your healing journey, have faith in the help and abundance and support that the universe will provide to give you this time and to give you this healing after a tower moment. And especially with Chiron, the healing part really is so prominent. Chiron is the wounded healer, so it is your personal wound that you yourself know how to heal, and these transits will just unconsciously be activated in your experience. It's not like you have to watch out for anything. If anything, you can just watch out for, signs and synchronicities around you and how that resonates with your inner world, and just follow the breadcrumbs that Spirit is giving you. Yeah, this is very, very healing. I just feel a lot of like soothing, watery, cool energy. This could also be because of the moon card too. I'm gonna pull an advice card from the Work Your Light deck. So what advice does pile 3 need to navigate this month of September? Advice for pile 3. Advice for pile 3. Advice for pile 3. Okay. On the back, we have awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Yeah, I mean, with Jupiter is about expansion, and Chiron definitely talks about healing yourself to make yourself more whole, integration. And yeah, I think this is a very spot on, definitely expanding the integration here. And we have leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. Oh my gosh. Yes. I think this is definitely so fitting with all of this. I think another part with the moon card is fear and uncertainty. So you might feel very apprehensive about pursuing whatever this project is or whatever this endeavor is, but there is reassurance from Spirit that it is, this is like the Fool card energy. They are giving you full permission to just take the plunge. There's also that phrase, leap and the net will appear. And so I definitely think that this is a confirmation that whatever whatever you're thinking of doing, starting up, creating, Spirit is in full support of it and definitely has your back. And I just love all the colors that are coming out here. We have a lot of purples and a lot of blues, so it is really, Spirit's really asking you to see beyond the material, especially to use your upper chakras, to use your third eye, your crown chakra, to see beyond the material and to push past the fear and to feel the fear and do it anyway. Because there is a lot of Jupiterian energy. Jupiterian energy is very jovial, it's very benefic. Jupiter is the planet of faith and belief. And yeah, it's so interesting. This one is 44 and this one is 55. Those could be very important numbers to you. And I also want to pull another advice card from this chakra deck. So what's another advice card for pile 3 for the month of September? Can I have one more advice card for pile 3? One more advice card for pile 3, please. Oh, here we go. We have 42. Chakra balance, peace. Through energy, breath, and balance emerges the greatest sense of peace. Yeah, I think that this is important to mention because moving through this and needing to have faith in a vision or faith in the unknown, faith in the universe that things will work out, it's very crucial to ground yourself and sit in meditation, or I mean, at least it's very helpful to do that. When your mind is calm and your body is calm, you're able to feel safer to open up to the possibilities and the vastness of the universe. When I personally sit in meditation, I feel the vastness. Whenever I close my eyes in meditation, I feel the vastness of the universe. I just feel like when I close my physical eyes, it feels like a set of other eyes just open up in the abyss. And I think that grounding with that energy will really give you confidence to see, like I said, to see past the material and to have faith and move forward in that direction. Once you have that truth grounded in yourself, it's a lot easier to have the conviction and to move in certain ways in your waking life. And on the back we have Lakshmi, golden goddess. The golden abundance of the universe is opening to you. Again, this is like very much on par with this Jupiter energy. Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance, and she likes to grant abundance to those who have recognized it in themselves first and foremost. Especially because she's all covered in red, and it's really screaming root and sacral chakra, and it just feels like she's so grounded in inner abundance that it is only true and natural that outer abundance and the universe will match your outer world to your inner abundance. And what else did I want to do? Oh yeah, I have the We're Not Really Strangers deck. I love journaling. I am the #1 supporter of journaling. And so I'm going to leave you off with a journal prompt that you can take, contemplate, journal with it, sit with it, and I will leave you off with that. So can I have a journal prompt for pile 3 for the month of September, please? When was the last time I felt most in my element? What was I doing? I think that's definitely perfect, and I think that, you know, whatever the answer to this question will definitely relate to the doors of abundance and opportunity opening up down here. So, if that resonated, please leave a comment. I am so curious to know what's going on in your life. If you liked it, please give it a like. Leave a comment. If you think that anyone else could benefit from a reading like this, please send it on over to them. If you would like a personal reading, I have an email and website in my description box. And yeah, I hope you have a really great rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this. And I hope to see you again. Hi, pile 4. If you chose the Lapis Lazuli, then this is your reading. If you skip the intro, September is just really filled with a lot of big astrological energy. On the 1st of September, Saturn is going to go retrograde back into Pisces. On the 5th, Uranus is going to go retrograde in Gemini. And shortly after, we are entering eclipse season. On the 7th, there is going to be a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And on the 21st, there is going to be a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. So if you look at the Pisces area of your birth chart, that is going to be very, very heavily activated with Saturn going back into there and there being a lunar eclipse there as well. But also on the other side of Pisces, the sister sign Virgo, because the eclipses are happening on that axis, the Virgo part of your chart has the potential to be very heavily activated as well with the new moon solar eclipse. So this is the energy check card. If you resonate with this energy, then we can see what September has in store for you. These major changes, major endings and beginnings in the Pisces Virgo area of your chart. We can see what's going on there. But if you resonate with this energy, this is definitely your pile. And we have the taco. Such a cute card. I'm just going to read the message from the guidebook because it is just so on point. But it says, the taco, the glorious, perfectly encapsulated food. Meat, cheese, sour cream, and extra guac. Everything you need in the palm of your hand. Your message, not all things that fall apart are broken. You may be stuck in a mess, but this isn't the end. Scoop up the pieces and remember that your routine doesn't define you. You can always change direction. You are a work of art. Eat up. I couldn't do it any better than the guidebook. And so, yeah, if you're in this energy of, feeling like that things are falling apart or things are breaking, this is definitely not the energy of the Tower. If you chose that other pile, I think this is a very softer version of the Tower where it's more of like a trial and error type of energy, whereas the Tower is like, unexpected and jarring, and it like changes the trajectory of, your understanding of something or your way of functioning, or, just completely, abrupt changes. But with the taco, I feel like this could be talking about perfectionism too. I feel like perfectionists really obviously want everything to look super nice and pretty and presentable, relatable. I can relate. And sometimes the process, doesn't look like that. Sometimes it is messy. And no shame if you're, in this energy right now. It is very much like, stumbling, figuring something out, getting your hands dirty, but also coming to also this energy of like there was a phase to this, like a growth process to this, or in order to get to like the next iteration of whatever this is, there has to be a process of like waning and waxing. So this is a lot of like, yeah, just trying things out, maybe like, facing a couple failures or rejections, but ultimately, like, that is the secret to success. I think the question people should be asking more is like, or not, I think a question people should be asking more, but how do I phrase this? I think there was this post I saw where this young woman was talking about how she was parented, and her dad would always ask her, like, how many times did you fail today? But it being like a positive and encouraging thing, because, trial and error and the resilience to keep trying after failure, it just builds wisdom, and it builds experience, and that is a lot more, moving forward and stumbling forward is a lot more productive than being stagnant and spiraling. So this very much feels like an energy of moving forward, but, maybe not being so sure-footed, or maybe like feeling like you're stumbling, stumbling forward, but it is a very, like, it's such a amazing sign of, resilience, and really learning that failure and possibly rejection and things not working out, learning that it is only a pathway to what is more true for you, and what, it's going to get you closer to what you actually want. So, this, if you resonate with this energy, I'm going to pull some tarot to see what the major changes in September could be about for you, pile 4. What are the major changes coming up ahead in September for pile 4? What are the major changes, major endings and beginnings coming up in September for pile 4? What are the major endings and beginnings happening in September for pile 4? What are the major beginnings and endings for pile 4 in September? What could these major changes be about for pile 4 in September? What could these major changes be about for pile 4 in September? Oop. What could these major changes be about for pile 4 in September? Last card, please. Okay. A lot of energy. Okay. So on the back we have the Ten of Cups. We love seeing that. So there is an overall feeling of happiness, satisfaction, very emotionally fulfilled. We have the Five of Swords, the Two of Swords, and the Lovers. Okay, pile 4. I feel like the major changes or major endings and beginnings happening for you this upcoming month of September. I think it has to do a lot with, now that I'm getting a fuller picture of this energy, the main vibe I'm getting from the Five of Swords and the Two of Swords is conflict resolution. I have a feeling that I feel like there's going to be a major shift in a dynamic, whether that be like internally or interpersonally with another person, or a situation. And with the Five of Swords, it feels like there's this energy of really having to stand up for yourself or speak out, give a voice to your needs and wants. The Five of Swords does have an energy of, it can be very abrasive. This energy can be brash. This could be, the energy of arguments, and having to choose your words very carefully. And I feel like there's just so much air energy here, first of all. These are all, there are 2 swords cards, and the Lovers is ruled by Gemini. And especially if your current energy is like that of the taco, where it's like kind of messy, kind of trial and error, trying to make things work. It feels like this is kind of an extension of that, where you are trying to have like a diplomatic decision between you and maybe another person or a circumstance, where there has to be a confrontation of some sort. There has to be a discussion of some sort. And this particular Five of Swords, sorry, you can see that there's a dude back there, and I personally think that, or I like to think that he's on the phone. But in the traditional depiction, the Rider-Waite-Smith depiction of the Five of Swords, there is someone with there's someone. It basically looks like they're all like on a battlefield with swords, and this definitely portrays a lot more calmer energy. So I think that whatever kind of pressure that needs to be relieved or addressed, I feel like it's very, and especially with the Two of Swords right next to it, it feels very calm and how do I say this? It feels very, like, it feels like a secure, like, people with secure attachments discussing a problem between them. Where, conflict resolution can be very constructive and calm, and where people, listen to each other. That might sound regular to some people, and it might sound foreign to some people. For me personally, that is a foreign thing, because the way I grew up, conflict resolution always had to be very like loud and unpleasant. um, but this just feels like the energy of being able to work something out with somebody, work something out with a lot of consideration and care, especially with the Two of Swords. That is the Moon and Libra card. And so I feel like, and especially even though this is a Swords card, there is a lot of water here. And so, especially with Moon and Libra, which is a placement I personally have, it feels like whatever decision will have to be made, or topic that needs to be discussed, it's moving towards the direction of more emotional security and stability with relation to, like, how the 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 relationship is. Once that there is, like, a stable emotional grounding in where, the intentions are for both parties, it is a lot easier to feel safe in the decision. Especially with the Lover's card, this could be, kissing and making up, literally, or this could definitely be read too as, like, the original translation for the lovers, or the original kind of archetype that was depicted for the lovers, was the choice. And so this also could represent, and even with this energy too, this, like, energy of indecision and duality, it feels like there's a lot of big choices that need to be made, and the choice that needs to be made needs to sit right with your heart. The scales of your heart need to be, like, balanced before you either come into union or make this final decision. And maybe on the pathway to that, it is very tumultuous, whether that be, like, again, having a conflict outside of yourself with another person, place, or thing, and just needing to hash things out. This is the energy of, like, hashing things out, and really putting it all out there, with the intention of, like, seeking emotional safety, and making sure that this is a proper and right choice for you. And so I feel like the major ending/beginning that could be happening for you in the month of September is just either, like, ending beef with somebody, coming to a mutual understanding, coming to a truce, and this overall energy of like harmony. The Lovers is the sixth card, the sixth major arcana, and six has the vibration of beauty and harmony and mutual reciprocation. And so, yeah, I feel like, for some reason, like, this is, I can feel like this could be very transformative, and to be able to really talk things out in a rational way with either yourself or someone, person, place, or thing. It takes a lot of like swallowing pride in a sense sometimes, and I don't know, I'm just getting this very like eighth house transformation type of feeling where maybe what is falling apart is a past way of showing up and having to shed that. And just this, like, yeah, maybe the eclipses will be happening in your second and eighth houses, or first and seventh house. Yeah, I could see those like two scenarios. I could be wrong. But next I'm going to use the astrology oracle to ask what energies you should be aware of during this month of September. Okay. What energies should pile 4 be aware of this month? What energies should pile 4 be aware of this month? Okay. We have Mercury, Saturn, so this is very much hashing out energy. Mercury is a planet of communication, and Saturn is the planet of boundaries. So you could be communicating boundaries, especially when you're, hashing something out. So yeah, this is the energy of like hard conversations. So that is very much fitting. And the other is Moon Jupiter. So you could have a natal Moon Jupiter conjunction, or Moon trine Jupiter, Moon opposite or square Jupiter, any natal aspects to your Moon and Jupiter, or Jupiter could be when Jupiter transits your natal moon, or if it has, or when the moon, because the moon moves quicker, when the moon transits your natal Jupiter, that might be a good time to have this conversation, because I feel like it will, give your emotional state a lot more, it will give your emotional state, it will, oh my goodness, I can't talk. The effect Jupiter will have on your emotional state will be very calming, be very soothing, expansive, but full of hope and joy. Jupiter is a very giving and benefic planet, and when in conjunction or aspect to the moon, it really just amplifies that beneficence. So there could be something important activating when the moon transits your natal Jupiter, because that should happen at least twice a month, because the moon changes sign every 2 days. So watch out for when the moon is in the sign of your natal Jupiter, because I think that the moon will definitely pick up on your inner hope, your inner faith, and you'll be able to channel that more effectively for your hard conversations, or just like, yeah, more challenging circumstances with regards to travel, or obstacles in with regards to travel, maybe obstacles and delays, but just having this overall attitude and emotional demeanor of being forgiving, and I just want to say like serene. Yeah, being just very forgiving and serene. I also want to pull an advice card from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Okay. I'm gonna shuffle out one advice card. Can I have one advice card for pile 4, please? Whoa, that one just flew out. Okay. You have the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? Yeah. So this is the Tower card energy that I was kind of alluding to here with the taco. But especially with the message of the taco being like, just because it falls apart doesn't mean it's broken. This card too, like, what are you clinging on to? Like, this is definitely Spirit encouraging you to let go of what hasn't been working. And even if you can see in the imagery over here, it's cracked open this like old building, and what has appeared when it is cracked open is this very abundant, colorful, life-filled, new beginning. Because with every ending is a new beginning, and I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to look forward to the new beginning, and don't look in the rear view mirror, essentially. On the back of the deck, we have Soul Family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. With the Lovers here too, this could mean that you are calling in a soul tribe member, a companion, even just a friend who can help you out with the situation, someone who isn't a part of the situation that can help you through it. You are never alone, and their Spirit is always trying to put people in your path to try and guide you and help you. And if you do feel like you're in that energy of kind of hopelessness, I do, especially with Moon Jupiter, kind of just like praying and calling out to the universe or whatever you believe in, will be so beneficial to help you navigate through like these hard conversations and navigate through these tough circumstances. But ultimately, like, this will lead you to either a union with someone or something, could be a place, an occupation, could lead you to like a very spiritual union with something external, or just a greater union within yourself as well. I also want to get an advice card from this chakra oracle deck. So what other advice does pile 4 need to hear? What other advice do you have for pile 4? What other advice do you have for pile 4 and their September? Advice for pile 4. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. So we have Guadalupe, forgiveness. Forgive yourself and others and awaken a deeper opening of the heart. So this is definitely big heart chakra energy. And even, like I said here, with the energy of forgiveness and Moon Jupiter, especially if this is a person, place, or thing that you see and envision like for the long haul, to really journey on throughout life with, forgiveness really is the best mode of operation here, because sometimes it is hard to find forgiveness, especially if you feel wrong, or if you feel like the dynamic was unfair or the situation was unfair. But forgiveness really does, it opens up a lot of energy. When you open up your heart chakra, the energy, it can flow a lot easier, upwards and downwards, like kind of like a torus field, where it kind of like circumambulates, like from outward back into inward. And the center of that is the heart chakra. And when you open your heart, the flow of everything is a lot more fluid. And forgiveness is definitely, forgiveness is definitely the energy here, especially with the 5 of Swords and the 2 of Swords. Hashing it out, really coming to terms with, both parties, and seeing each other's sides. And especially, I feel like when you do get to hash this situation out, I feel like you will gain a greater empathy for the other side, and see, balance the scales, see where they're coming from. And when you open your heart to that, forgiveness is very, it's a lot easier to do. And on the back, we have insight, spiritual teacher. Connect with a spiritual teacher and tap into higher wisdom. Yes. This is also a crown chakra card. So I feel like Spirit is also asking you to really meditate and look deep. Look deep within yourself. Sit in silence. Sit with your inner voice, but also call out and ask for a teacher to come into your life. They say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And especially with this Mercury Saturn, this is definitely student teacher energy. So I feel like you should definitely set the intention out to set the vibration out into the universe that you would want to call in someone. And I definitely think that you will be able to attract a soul family, someone part of your soul family to help you through this. And, a spiritual teacher doesn't have to necessarily be someone in a church or a temple. A spiritual teacher can be your friend. It can be your pet. It can be, your coworker. Everybody around you is a spiritual teacher. There's a quote that says, "When you know how to listen, everybody is the guru." And I feel like Spirit is really asking you to open your crown, and your third eye to see the spiritual teacher in everyone you interact with. Because everyone has a very unique vibration, and everyone has a unique signature that sometimes you can't access that yourself. And it becomes a lot more apparent when it's reflected in another person. And that in itself is them being a teacher. And I am also, to finish this off, I have the We're Not Really Strangers Self-Love Edition deck, and I really love journaling. I think I'm the number one supporter of journaling. I think it is very important. And I would love to leave you with a journal prompt. So you can contemplate it, journal with it, sit with it, and hopefully, this will help you for your month of September. You got, when was the last time I pleasantly surprised myself? Explain. And then on the back it says, can we focus, please? It says, how has my confidence increased with age? We're just really, are we not going to do that? We're not having it? Okay. There you go. So, that's all I have for you. Pile 4. Good luck on your month of September. I'm so curious to hear if this resonated with you. If it did, I want to know the details. Please leave a comment. I'm so interested. And if you like this reading, please give it a like, give it a comment. I do want to know what's going on. If you think that anyone else could benefit from a reading like this, please go on and send it over to them. And if you would like a personal reading, I have an email and website link in my description. And I hope to see you again.